Yo, what is good, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to the channel, guys. We have some more breaking news, notes, highlights, observations from another day here in Pittsburgh for training camp, as we just see Najee Harris coming down with a beautiful catch and basically a touchdown down the left sideline. In this video, we're going to break down everything that we've seen over the last couple of days for the Steelers training camp. Some good news, some great news, and also a little bit of bad news as well. I'm going to cover it all in this video, so make sure you guys do me a quick favor before we get into the details. Smash that like button so we can get the video to all of the Steelers fans around the world. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new, as we see Calvin Austin also getting a big-time burn down the right sideline for a touchdown. Speed does kill. Make sure you guys join the family if you're new. I will be covering the entirety of the offseason, training camp, preseason, regular season, signings, trades, everything that you can think of. I've got you guys covered, as well as I will be live streaming games, Steelers games, all year long, as well as a bunch of other NFL teams. So make sure you guys join the family. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the one guy who had probably the best practice that I've seen, especially out of him in a while, Anthony McFarland, was definitely the best player on the field. His route running looked amazing. His agility was, standing out, from everyone else's. And he just looked incredible. He ran a couple of wheel routes that, were down the right sideline, left sideline for touchdowns over Quan Alexander and Tanner Muse. They just could not keep up with him. So Anthony McFarland was definitely a clear winner. But he definitely, is going up in uphill battle with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris for some big-time reps. So we'll see if he can end up, clearing some way, picking up some ground here over the next few days, especially during some preseason games. And there's one of them right there. Just beat down the right sideline for an easy touchdown. McFarland looks good, looks to be a lock to at least be the RB3 on this team going forward. Now, another guy who has looked pretty good is Chappelle Russell. Definitely a surprise guy throughout the linebacking core. Definitely a guy who has been really good so far. I don't know if he's going to make the full roster, but it does look like right now he is definitely he's doing good. He's doing what he needs to do. He's, keeping up with the routes. He's stopping runs in the backfield. He's doing whatever he needs to do, and he continues to show that. If he continues to show that, he will make this roster for sure. Now, Cole Holcomb looked pretty good out there. It is pretty interesting because they brought in Quan Alexander and basically telling him that he's probably going to lock up in a linebacker one job. He's going to be a starter, which tells me that someone's going to have to sit back, whether that be Mark Robinson, Cole Holcomb, or Alana Roberts. Someone's going to take a back seat. I don't know who it's going to be, but with Cole Holcomb looking the way he's looking, maybe it's Alana Roberts at this point. Maybe Alana Roberts is the guy who might not be a starter for them going into next season. But definitely, I would say Cole Holcomb, Mark Robinson, and Quan Alexander are guys who are all competing. Even Chappelle Russell, all competing to be starting linebackers for this team next season. Now, I do want to talk about, the bad news of the day. Corey Trice, man, out for the season. He tore something. I think it was maybe a meniscus or an Achilles, something like that. So he's going to be out for the season. He posted something on social media saying, "Hey, I'm going to win comeback of the player next year, or comeback player of the year next year." So look out for him, man. It's tough because he was having not only a great rookie minicamp and minicamp in general, but he was having a pretty good training camp period as well. So hopefully he gets back healthy as soon as possible. We want him out here on the field. We want him to continue to develop, but looks like his time's going to have to wait. Wait a little bit longer, and he'll be back on the field next year, so hopefully he'll be okay. But in terms of linemen and some drills in terms of the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, another guy who looked really good, Nate Herbig, man. Nate Herbig is a massive. He made some really good plays when it stood out against DeMarvin Leal. Just used his athleticism, his power, strength, just to make sure that he gets to the backfield. So that was big for him. He was looking good, especially during DeMarvin Leal, who is someone they think is very versatile, very dynamic, and could bring a whole lot to this defense next year. Definitely Nate Herbig is a guy that looked very good. Alex Highsmith also looks very dominant. Nick Herbig, his brother, looks insanely good as well. So there's guys everywhere you look that are standing out. George Pickens is making some crazy catches versus Joey Porter Jr. I know you guys saw that. Darnell Washington having a pretty good day in terms of blocking, and they're trying to utilize him in multiple different ways as well. So there's so much good news going around here in Pittsburgh in terms of their offense, in terms of their defense, in terms of guys just standing out. There's so many guys who are looking good. But yeah, well, like I said, with the pads on, Darnell Washington, made a statement, man. He's here to stay. He's going to get some playing time right away, and he's going to be a contributor, whether that be in the run game, as a blocker, in the pass game as a vertical threat, or just as a guy who's tough to bring down. I feel like Darnell Washington is going to be someone that they look to utilize a ton next season, especially when they run 2 tight end sets. I feel like he could definitely be someone that they use a lot. And then lastly, I want to talk about Calvin Austin. The first 2-3 days of practice, he looked terrible, and now he is really starting to ramp up. You can tell the rust is coming off. Remember, he didn't play at all last season, and now it looks like he's getting his feet underneath him, ready to roll for next year, man. He is looking good. He's looking speedy. He's burning people left and right, and I think he could be someone that gets, an underrated amount of playing time going into next season, especially because they have Allen Robinson, you have Deontay Johnson, you have George Pickens. I think Calvin Austin is a guy who will find his way onto the field come next season. So let me know what you guys think about the training camp period here for the Steelers. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Keep in mind, I will be covering everything, making sure you guys are up to date with all these training camp highlights, news, notes, and everything you guys need to know. Comment down below who is someone you think could break out for the Steelers next season. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. This video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. And if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.